Omno is a third-person adventure game set in an ancient and beautiful world full of life. It's reminiscent of games like Journey and Abzu, which, yep, I haven't played them, though if they're anything like this, I definitely will. In it, you play as, well, Omno, a staff bearer, as they explore their incredibly vibrant world. The game was developed by one-man developer Jonas Monkey from Studio Inky Fox, and co-published with Future Friends Games, and is currently available for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch for $18.99. The story begins with Omno waking up in a vast swamp. After walking around for a little while, it becomes clear that they have a set goal in mind, so you hitch a ride from a giant rock turtle to start the adventure. This game has quite an intriguing narrative, though most of it is not really made clear from the start, and you have to piece a lot of it together yourself. Many details come from glyphs you can find in the environment that give you hints about people who've taken this path before you, as well as some small lore pieces in the creature guide. The world itself also plays a big part in figuring everything out, and I was able to infer a lot about the past of whatever area I was in just by exploring it. You're not just discovering all of this by yourself though, as Omno is quickly joined by an adorable little green companion. He's pretty timid at first, but warms up to you as the game progresses, and by the end of my adventure, I honestly couldn't imagine having gone on this journey without him. While most of the storytelling is subtle, there are a few places where the game is more direct. Some areas have short cutscenes at the start of them, and towards the end of the game, Omno's overall message comes into focus. I obviously don't want to spoil it here, but it was meaningful, and actually made me think about how it might apply to my own life. The ending itself is also really emotional and heartwarming, to the point where it even got me to shed a lot of tears, and any story which makes me that invested gets a thumbs up. Another reason why Omno gripped me as much as it did is its absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful visuals. The simplistic but wonderful art style combines fantastically with some amazing lighting effects to create a world that's almost too gorgeous to look at. Ancient structures lay abandoned and have been worn down by the elements, giving a glimpse into a forgotten civilization filled with secrets. The creature designs are as interesting as they are inspired, and interacting with them to see more of their fascinating behaviors was always a joy, though I do wish the guide had more to say about them, so I could admire them even more. Each area somehow manages to feel more beautiful than the last, and the way the game allows you to move through them at your own pace lets you take the time needed to just soak it all in. Seriously, I think I stopped to slow pan more often in this game than anything else I've played for a while, and it's easy to see why. I mean, just look at how gorgeous this is. It also helps that everything in Omno is wonderfully animated, from the various foliage to the surprising amount of animals and everything in between. Even little details add a lot, like the way plants react to you going through them or how you leave footprints in the snow. Omno's movement animations in particular stand out, and the game's short cutscenes are so well made that they show a surprising amount of emotion, though the transitions to them can feel awkward at times. There are also several brilliant scripted sequences where I was genuinely smiling the entire time, as they were nothing less than awe-inspiring. All of this blends together to make a visual experience so good that I actually struggled to look away, and it's definitely among my favorite looking games of the past few years. Just like its art style, Omno's gameplay is fairly simplistic, but that's not a bad thing. The basic movement controls are fun and what you'd expect, but you unlock more interesting ones over time, and I was surprised by just how smooth they felt to use. Dashing is great for platforming sections, and the way time slows down before you teleport is so cool. However, it's surfing that's easily my favorite ability in the game. The way you can just ride your staff and weave through the world is just brilliant, and can lead to some amazing moments. Omno has 10 distinct areas for you to explore, and while your general objectives are the same in each of them, that doesn't make them any less fun. They all have a decent amount to do, and the way they're laid out makes them feel bigger than they actually are. In order to finish a level, you need to find a few of these light orbs that are scattered around in the environment. These can be anywhere from at the end of enjoyable platforming challenges to locked behind some simple but fun puzzles. There's also always one per level that can only be obtained from collecting enough light to activate a special pillar. Thankfully, light is basically everywhere, and you can get it from interacting with various creatures and objects in an area. I do wish it was used for more though, as after I quickly unlocked the light orb at any given level, there wasn't really any more reason to collect it other than to give myself a quick speed boost. Other than the orbs, there's also the lore glyphs I mentioned earlier to find, as well as creature guide entries that you get by approaching something you haven't seen yet. While you don't need to collect everything in one area to move on, I do recommend doing it. They don't take long to 100%, and while you also get an achievement for doing so, I was honestly just happy to spend more time in this world. When you do get around to finishing an area, there's often a puzzle you need to solve before you can move on. The puzzle solving in this game is enjoyable, and I thought all of them were well designed. Sometimes you'll have to move quickly to beat a time limit, but for the most part they simply require you to put everything in the right place or complete a few steps in a specific order. Overall, they were a lot of fun, and I'm happy to say I never got frustrated while working them out. Omno is not very long. It took me less than 5 hours to finish, and while I do feel that's a fair length for the price, I would have been more than happy to continue exploring, but I do prefer quality over quantity, and this is definitely quality. Though I do feel I should mention, and I'm not kidding when I say this, that probably 20 to 30 minutes of my playtime was dedicated purely to slow panning. It's also an easy game to 100% achievements wise, and the chapter select makes it easy to go back and finish up anything you might have missed after completing the game. Looking at performance, I didn't encounter any issues while playing, apart from a couple of minor bugs. However, it is worth mentioning that the options menu is pretty limited. You can't even adjust how loud the music is compared to the sound effects. Thankfully though, none of this was enough to negatively impact my experience. The music of Omno sounds as good as the game looks. The full soundtrack, composed by Benedict Nichols, is a brilliant mix of beautifully paced notes and a great chorus. I loved getting to hear a new track whenever I entered a new area or linear sequence, and I was amazed by how it manages to elevate many of the game's already emotional moments into something more. For real, listen to this and tell me it's not amazing. You can buy the whole thing separately from the game, and I highly recommend you do if you're looking for some new tracks to inspire you. Omno is a lovingly made adventure game that takes you on a very memorable journey. Its subtly told but meaningful story is full of emotion and mystery, and I'll definitely be thinking about it for quite a while. The wonderfully made visuals and wildlife designs create an amazing world that I loved exploring, and one I truly didn't want to leave behind. A great movement system plus some fun puzzle solving and collectible finding make actually playing the game, instead of just slow panning, really enjoyable. And the absolutely brilliant soundtrack helps to pull the whole thing together and make something beautiful. So if you're looking to lose yourself in a mysterious and awe-inspiring world for a while, Omno is the game for you. Alright, and with that, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, subscribe for more videos coming soon, and until next time, remember, while we love to look to the future, don't forget to live in the moment, because who knows, maybe the thing we need the most is right in front of us. Well, that got deeper than I expected. See you next time, everyone.